And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello, everyone. Yes, it is the weekend, which means you get another edition of the Weighing In podcast. My man with the big Tyson on his chest, Josh Thompson, is ready to do battle with me on what he believes are going to be the big players of 2023 coming in from the UFC, Bellator, maybe in a little PFL talk in there too. What's happening, my brother? That's it, huh?
The weather is so depressing, man.
The weather is so delightful.
Us California people, we got it so rough when it comes to the weather. So
shit.
But before we get started on this whole show, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit the thumbs up. All of those things help get our algorithm pumping so we can get people out there to share our content with. We want to thank you guys for supporting this podcast, supporting Big John and myself, and even Podcast Dave, who doesn't speak a lick of English when you talk to him. But we want to thank you guys, of course. Go to WeighingInMerch.com. Pick up some of our new apparel. We got out some new stuff up there, and we got a whole new company that we're using with great material. Great merch, awesome stuff, hoodies, long sleeves, short sleeves, new designs,
hats.
Everything is out.
Oh,
hats,
look at that hat.
as you
Look
can
at
see.
that hat.
There we
Bow.
go. Boom. So we got some new designs, and we got the old designs plus the new designs, and we got a bunch of new stuff up there. So check it out at WeighingInMerch.com. Thank you guys.
Got my wallet back. I got my wallet back.
Did they overnight it? They got it
Well,
to you?
they overnighted it, and it only took like 4 nights for it to get overnighted.
It's funny how things work during the holidays.
Don't leave your wallets in other states.
No.
Bad idea. Bad idea for getting on the airplane. Bad idea for being able to pay for your food. Couldn't even buy food in the damn airport.
Miss McCarthy hit me up and said, yeah, John left his wallet or lost his wallet at the studio. And I'm like, this is like a conversation I would have with like my 13-year-old. Like, how do you lose your wallet at your age?
Man, it's funny because I always keep it in my back pocket. Sometimes I'll put it in my front pocket based upon where I'm at. But I was sitting in this chair and it was in my back pocket, and the chair was a hard fucking seat on the thing. And I was like, I'm not going to sit on that the whole time. And I just put it on that desk in front of me. And I forgot that I put it on that desk in front of me. Jeez. And I was quick to try to get the hell out of there. I wanted to get out of New York City. I wanted to get home. And I had my ride waiting for me. And I jumped in it with Norty. And when I got to the airport, I did my normal. Touch the phone. Touch the wallet. We're ready to... Hold it. Touch the phone. Touch the... Where the fuck is my wallet? Yep, it was still at the studio.
That's one of those like that's how I feel about my phone. If like my phone's gotta be with me at all times. I just feel like I feel so lost without my phone. Like I can make do without my wallet. You want to know why? Because this is 2023 now, but I've got credit cards on my phone like most people do. They carry their credit card on their phone.
Oh, shut your mouth.
This knucklehead goes to the airport, can't buy anything because his credit card is not on his phone after you lose your wallet.
But
I can get around.
Hold on, my credit card was
phone.
because I actually got to re-up my Clear because it was the only way I was going to get in through TSA. I used to have Clear when I lived in Vegas because the Vegas airport had Clear, and so I got it, signed up. It was easy. Did that whole eye thing, right? Well, then where I live now, they don't have Clear, so it's like, well, I'm not going to keep it up and not use it, so it's gone, right? So now I'm in LaGuardia, and they go, well, do you have Clear? I go, well, I used to. Well, you can re-up it. I don't have a credit card. Do you take cash? No. So I had them send me a picture of my credit card that I could put into the thing, got my Clear so I could get into the airport. But no, I didn't have all my cards on my phone that I could just go click. No.
Yeah, I don't have all of them. I've got the 2 or 3 that I use the most and make sure that they're always on there.
Yeah,
Man.
This technology, I'm telling you right now, technology fucking sucks.
It can make your life easier, but it can also make it more difficult.
Oh, it can. Just depends on what side of the street you're standing.
All right, well, let's roll into some stuff. There's not a lot going on because there's no fights this week. I don't think there's any fights next week.
Nope. But we don't need fights, Josh.
Yeah,
you know
we don't
why?
really need fights. Because our loving, glaring personality, I don't even know how you would say it, our great personalities will carry us through
glowing.
Glowing.
We're
Not
glowing.
glaring. Not
That's
glaring.
right.
Glowing.
Well, you might glare a little bit.
Yeah, you want to know why? Because I can't
angry
read
glare
this.
people.
I'm going to have to like get the glare in my glasses to see stuff. I can't see
Look,
any of this
Hey,
stuff.
put those back on. For once in your life, you looked educated, man. Look at you. Oh, look at the
That's
Professor
right.
Thompson.
That's right. That's right.
See? But in
Sexy.
reality,
I'm
the
sexy.
vanity of Josh
Man,
at this moment is just dying. It's cringing that he has to wear glasses.
I have contacts too. They're just such a pain in the ass. I'm just so much easier to carry glasses around. I don't know. We'll see. I may have to use them on set one of these days at the desk.
Woo.
Oof. I don't know.
It's all right. You
See.
look, make you look distinguished.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pain
you're
in
not
the ass,
buying it.
but- No, I'm not buying it. I'm not. All right, Dave, what do you got for us, buddy? What are we doing today?
All right, we're going to look at predictions for 2023.
Yeah.
So we're going to go through each of the divisions for Bellator and UFC since they have rankings. We're going to use those rankings to look at the current state of these divisions. Who's at the top right now, who's got potential to make that come up, and who might be on the way out, and who might not be in there right now that you expect to see kind of, do a Sean O'Malley and hop their way right into that number one spot in 2023. So want to hear all your thoughts there. If there's anything PFL 1 that you want to mention, they don't have rankings, but if there's anything you want to mention for people to keep an eye out for, by all means, throw those in once we're through the UFC and Bellator portion of each division. We'll start with the UFC's Flyweight. Bellator does not have a Flyweight division, so we'll start with the UFC Flyweight division, hop over into Bantamweight, and go from there. So let's take it away on Flyweight.
Let's do it.
Can you make this bigger at all?
Oh my God,
Well-
it's plenty big right there, Dave.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Put your damn glasses on you. Put them on. Put the glasses on so you
You
can
know what
see.
it is, right? It's the glare. I don't want everyone to be bothered by my glare. There we go.
Just tilt them down a little bit.
I'm gonna have to.
50% of your audience is listeners, not watchers. So
There you go,
they won't
see?
be bothered.
All right, look at the current, as they say, undisputed champion is Davison Figueiredo, and the interim champion is Brandon Moreno. These guys have fought 3 times already, but you know what? Each fight was a different fight unto itself. All good. The first fight was fantastic, ended in a draw. Second fight, Brandon Moreno smokes him. Third fight, Davison Figueiredo comes out and puts on a great, long, drawn-out fight, but beats Brandon Moreno, and then Moreno gets the interim title with his win. And you look and you go, these guys they're fun to watch. But man, they need to bring more blood, something different into this division. You've got guys like Mateus Nicolau. You've got guys like Pantoja. I mean, you got to give these guys their shot at that. I'm not saying that I have not enjoyed all of the Moreno versus Figueiredo fights. They've been fun. But somehow it's got to stop somewhere along the way, and you got to introduce that other blood. Because I'm telling you right now, Josh, if there's one thing I know the UFC matchmakers are going and saying is, God damn, I wish I still had Demetrius Johnson. I wish I still had Kyoji Horiguchi. It would make their life so much easier, so much better, and it would be better for this division.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we saw with Kai Kara France, he couldn't get it done, and Brandon Moreno was just too much for him. But when I look at the guys in that mix, though, with Pantoja, he's good. I don't think he's ready for Moreno either, though, John. I know they keep doing the repeat on these things, but I think certain guys, though, I get it. But I look at guys that potentially don't really have a lot to lose, but could make big jumps if you challenge them a little bit more. Guys like Manel Cape. He's got losses.
Yeah.
He's got the ability to fight at a high level when you spark the interest in him. He's gonna have to fight someone dangerous. What are you holding him back for? There's no reason to hold him back. Get him up there. Like, have him fight, these upper echelon of guys. Amir Albazi, super tough guy.
Absolutely. I love Albazi. I think he's fun to watch. He's really got something going.
And Nicolau, he's
Nicolau's
in
good.
that mix. Just get them there. Get them there now. Like the Royval, Brandon Royval is a very talented fighter, extremely
Very
talented.
I agree.
You know, he's had a little bit of misfortune. I think.
He's had some
Remember his
setbacks on
shoulder? His
injuries.
shoulder popped
Yeah.
out. I think he had an issue with that. And then, but I mean, he's ready for that next level. I mean, him against any of those, him and Pantoja, him and Carcar France. I can't remember who's fought who, honestly, in this division, because they only have one fight every couple, shows of 125 pounder. It's always the same guys that they're focused on. They're not marketing these 125 pounders like they market everyone else.
No,
and so
that's the real problem. But
and we cover all these fights, and we still have a hard time remembering. So the casual fan at home is going like, "Oh, I've never seen this guy before."
well, you can look at Brandon Royval, and he has fought Brandon Moreno. He lost. That was the shoulder injury. That was that fight.
Yeah.
Against Moreno and stuff. But you got to look and you got to say, man, Pantoja has been around now. He deserves a shot. He deserves that chance. He's up there. Amir Albazi, every time he fights, he puts on a show, man. He comes to fight, and you got to say, that's the guy I'm going to try. I'm going to give him that big fight up there. I'm going to give him the Kai Kara France, or I'm going to give him the Brandon Royval. And if he can get past those guys, then he's right in line for getting that title shot, in my opinion, at 125 right now.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think for them to mix it up, they are hurting for top level talent though. The DJ would have been a great job to keep him there. I know they did the trade, whatever it was, but at the end of the day, DJ still had a lot of miles left on him, and I don't think they expected the 125 pound division to start bringing in more talent the way they did. I mean, they had Joe Benavidez for so long. They had all these other fighters against Cejudo there. You had all these fighters for so long. And then they were kind of on their way out. Cejudo wasn't on his way out, but had fighters that were kind of on their way out. And they're like, DJ's been so dominant. Like, what are we going to do with this? But now you've got a new crop of fighters. I mean, bringing back someone like a DJ, or, trying to make another trade, maybe to get DJ back. I mean, you have a working relationship from before. I mean, try and trade somebody else for DJ to kind of spice this thing back up again. I mean, I don't know. I know that Bellator is not interested at all in getting rid of Horiguchi.
No, they love Horiguchi
because of that Japanese connection and how fucking good he is, man. He's so good. He's so entertaining. He's got such big power. But I mean, like I would understand too if they were able. This is where it comes into it, John. Who can you give me at another weight class that I'm building up?
Yeah.
Who can you give me? Look, I'll give you Horiguchi. Who's in the 155 pound division here? Let's go. Give me see. Short of the 155.
Why are you going?
I had to go to the glasses.
You're jumping it. You're jumping it.
He's jumping because there's going to be a tournament.
There's going to be a tournament. That's why I'm jumping.
Yeah.
It's because there's going to be a 155 pound.
Why?
Who could we potentially get in the 155 pound tournament? Justin Gaethje. He's fought for the title how many times? He's come up short. Throw some action in there, man. You've got Mosaev. You've got these fighters. Tawfiq Mosaev and him would be a great fight.
What a great fight that would be. Yep,
Patricky and him would be a good fight. I mean, like, you've got guys that will stand and bang. Well, he's the guy. If you're looking for that, I give you Horiguchi.
Yeah.
I give you Horiguchi. You give me Justin. Justin Gaethje. I'm just throwing this. I'm throwing one guy out there. That's it.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I would say I would love to have Dustin. I'd love to have Dariush. I'd love to have all those guys. But I'm simply saying, like, Dariush hasn't fought for the title.
Dariush is the one guy I think they would actually trade.
Which is crazy, man.
I know.
He could be their
He's so good.
Like if Charles,
he doesn't get the love that other guys get, man.
If Islam wasn't there, he'd be their champion.
Yeah,
I'd
be right there. It'd be him and Charles.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. I mean, but I jumped that line a little bit because like when we talked about doing trades, potential trades, Horiguchi's a stand-up fighter, a great fighter, brings action, good takedown defense. Him against Brandon Moreno, him against Figueiredo, him against Kai Kara France. That'd be a great fight, him and Kai Kara France.
Yeah. Yep.
Just putting these matchups in my head. Great fights for him there if he decided to do it. But then I'd want something in trade. Give me that Justin Gaethje. If I'm doing a 155-pound tournament, bring it, man. I want someone that's gonna just gonna bring it. Gonna bring it every time. Win or lose, he's gonna bring it. That's a great matchup. That's a great trade, I should say.
Yeah.
Next.
All right, let's hop into that bantamweight division here, and we'll start with the UFC this time.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I'll tell you what, when you look at the UFC's bantamweight division, it is just stacked. I love this division. And, honestly, in our last show, we talked about, fighters of the year, and Aljamain Sterling crossed my mind many times as far as, should I put him as, fighter of the year? Because look, he had 2 big wins. He had a big win against Petr Yan, and he had a big win against TJ. Now, yeah, TJ's shoulder popped out, but that's not Aljamain's fault.
No.
He did his job. He went out there and he put a whooping on him the way he was supposed to, especially with the hurt shoulder. And in this division, man, there are no easy fights. There just are not. And if you're going to look and say, all right, you're saying he could have been fighter of the year. He could also be the first champion that gets, dethroned based upon how tough everyone is in that division. It is not an easy position to hold on to with all those targets on you and stuff. I look at this and, Sean O'Malley being up there at the top, I really think he's going to start to make, a difference here. But they have that fight set up between Chito Vera and Corey Sandhagen. And I honestly believe, I think you're going to see Henry Cejudo come out and get that fight against Aljamain, whether he gets a win or not. I'm not saying I have no idea. That's going to be a great fight. But whoever comes out on top, be it Henry Cejudo or be it Aljamain, I think their next, opponent is going to be the winner of that Sandhagen versus Chito Vera fight.
Yeah, I think they'd be foolish not to do the Henry Cejudo and Aljamain Sterling fight. Like, do it right now, get it out of the way. That stylistic matchup between Aljamain, he lives off of his wrestling and trying to get in his submission attacks.
Not in that fight, he doesn't.
And he ain't getting the takedown. He ain't getting the takedown, stuffing the takedown. Now, he may be able to get on the neck, though.
He can get on the back.
He can get on the neck. He may be able to try to get to the back. He's going to have a hard time. I think Henry's going to be able to fight hands and stay away as best he can. And on the feet, Henry's just showed me too much, man. He showed me too much with the speed. Better. And not only just has he gotten better, but I mean, I know he's been out for 2.5 years, something like that. But look, he's showed me in that Moraes fight, he will bite down on his mouthpiece, stand with you, and trade with you.
Yeah.
And with Aljamain Sterling, he doesn't have to worry about that. Like he sure, like Aljo has some stand up, but his stand up is not as good as Moraes' stand up, and he doesn't possess as much power as Moraes. Now I know Moraes is on the slide down, but in this type of fight, Henry Cejudo, if he is 85 to 90% of what he was when he left, and I'm not knocking Aljo, just the styles make matchups.
Yep.
I don't think he can take Henry down. Getting him down is where most of the submissions are going to come from, unless he's able to kind of get a duck under and kind of get to the back. If he presses him to the fence, kind of wiggle his way to the back and get the hooks, he might be able to do that. But have you ever grappled with someone really small, really short in stature but strong, and you're trying to get your hooks in on their back? You're trying to leg ride them. It's just so hard. It's so hard, man. Like when I used to try to train with Justin Wilcox, the silverback. It was just impossible, man. Trying to get a leg right in, just too much. It's too hard. You can't get your feet in. Like, he's so strong. You can't get your hook around the far side. So compact. Aljo's got his work cut out for him. In terms of the rest of the division, Aljo, Henry, all of them could lose at any time. All of them. They can lose at any time. In any fight, this division's so stacked. You get all the way down. I'm looking all the way down. So you got Umar at number 11.
Trust me, I've looked at it.
Yeah.
You got Chris Gutierrez down there, Chris Gutierrez is a dynamite fighter. Very, very slick in the stand-up. He's got good wrestling. He's got the full package. Chris Gutierrez, Adrian Yanez, Umar, that's 11, 12, and 13. And I'm looking at them going, they could be right up at 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
No problem. And so this whole division could switch quickly. Obviously you've got, like we talked about, Chito Vera against Sandhagen. They're 4 and 5. Well, one of them is going to, possibly move up a little bit, and one of them is going to move down. Merab is kind of in that,
Yeah, he's waiting for Aljo.
Yeah, he's in no man's land right now. He will not fight Aljo, and that's fine. I understand why. And so he's got to be a guy who's sitting there, just letting people take shots at him. And look, he's a tough person to go against, but I would love to see Umar against Merab. I think that would be a phenomenal fight. The real question is,
Umar's matched up right now.
Who's he matched up with?
Can you pull that up, Dave? Umar's got a matchup right now.
I didn't know he had a matchup.
Yeah, I think it's Chris Gutierrez.
Is it?
I think so. I think it is.
Don't know.
Raoni Barcelos.
Oh,
Barcelos.
right, Barcelos is good. That's a good matchup. But Umar should win that fight.
Yeah. I look at Said Nurmagomedov. He's all the way down. Jack Shore is one hell of a fighter as well. Giannis is scheduled right now to fight Rob Font. That's coming up.
That's right. Which is a great matchup. You talk about a stand-up battle. Hello.
Yep. So those two, and then you've got Ricky Simone, who's kind of just lingering in there with Pedro Munoz and Yadong Song and Dominic Cruz. That middle of the pack.
Yeah,
they're kind of like, I would say they're kind of, I don't want to say on their way out, but they're not on their way in. They're kind of just in the middle. They're in the middle of the pack.
At least Ricky Simon is he's the youngest one out of them all. Pedro and Dominic obviously have some miles on him and stuff. Yadong Song's super young.
Yeah.
And so he's going to be around for a long time. It's just the entire division is stacked. You can go that division from champion down to 15. You can't find an easy fight. Mm-hmm. Can't. They're that good.
There's no easy fights. There's no this division at 135 is the most stacked division in the sport. We've said this multiple times. We're going to continue to say it. And at any point, all of these fighters can be champions. All of them. I would go all the way down, and some have already been champions. Yeah. You got Peter Yan as the former champion. You got Dominic Cruz, former champion. I mean, TJ's out now. Corey's fought for the title. I mean, like, you've got Marlon Vera feels like he's unbeatable right now. He finds a way to get it done, whether it's dropping you at the end of each round and getting the win that way, or just putting you away. I mean, he's nasty. He's good. He makes for an interesting fight. He's got a big fight coming up too. So that's going to be like, you've got all these fights that are all scheduled out, but Corey Sandhagen is not to be overlooked, man.
Oh.
He's the guy that I think is him. I'm surprised they didn't do like a Marlon versus Merab, because Merab's just gonna kind of linger around there right now. I mean, what do you do with Peter Yan? Do you not have Peter Yan and Merab fight then?
See where you could. You're taking a look and you go, who are you going to put against Merab? Obviously, like we said, the entire 15 they're there. It's a tough fight. Now, Merab's a tough fight. I'm not taking anything away from him. They're all tough. They all have their styles, and if I was going to look, I could say, look, if you put this person against Merab, I think Merab gets the win. You put him against this guy, maybe not. I mean, that styles make fights.
This is what I think. If Henry Cejudo ends up beating Sean O'Malley, or not Sean O'Malley, but Aljo,
you're going to see Merab get a shot.
They're going to see Merab get the title shot.
Yeah.
And then, but then Merab lives off of his wrestling.
Thank you very much.
And he ain't out wrestling Henry Cejudo.
He ain't even close as far as now. He is great with pressure.
Yeah.
He's a great pressure fighter and stuff, but pressure will only get you so much. Not getting the takedown and working hard for it, it's not a recipe for staying long in a fight.
Could get you in a lot of trouble too against someone who can stuff your takedowns.
That's it.
All right, next.
You guys want to hop into Bellator here?
Sure, we'll go to Bantamweight and Bellator. Well, look, we got let's just look, be honest with you. Look at it. Champion is Sergio Pettis. He won that title from Juan Archuleta. He defended it against Horiguchi with that unbelievable spinning back fist, come from behind win. He hasn't fought since because he tore up his knee. Rafion Stotts won the interim. He's the one holding on to the interim championship, and he's got his next fight in the finals of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix against Patchy Mix. Both of these guys have proved that, they deserve to be in that slot. I'll tell you what, I look at all this, and there's so many guys that, you could look at and say, well, this guy can move here. This guy could do this. I look at this right now and I go, Patchy Mix against Rafion Stotts is an outstanding fight. And the person, either of the guys that, win that, be it Rafion Stotts or be it Patchy. Now, Rafion was a teammate of Sergio Pettis, but they both present the style that is made to beat Sergio, and he knows that. He has, if you're going to say who's going to give Sergio Pettis the most problems, it's a guy that can wrestle. It's a guy that can take him down, put him on his back, and keep him there for a good portion of the fight. Well, Rafion Stotts and Patchy Mix have that ability.
Yeah. I look at guys like Danny Sabatello, Magomedov.
Both of them, same thing.
Both those guys can end up beating Sergio. Both those guys could potentially beat Rafael Stotts. You know, now that they fall into a little bit of a problem with Patchy Mix because he's so dangerous on the ground. He's very difficult to deal with because of his length and because of the way he is, because of his technique on the ground. Juan Archuleta is kind of that free spirit. He kind of can go everywhere. He's just someone that he can fight you on the feet. He can fight you on the ground. He can wrestle. He can train jiu-jitsu. Like, he's also not committed to getting you to the ground. He'll just threaten takedowns to let his hands go. He'll mix it all the way up. He's dangerous everywhere. Kyoji Horiguchi, I don't even got to say much about him. Everyone knows who he is, how good he is. He's dynamic on the feet. I mean, he was running away with that fight with Sergio. Sergio threw the head kick, came over the top, and threw a spinning back fist as he circled out with his hands down. Clipped him right on the chin. Lights out. It was over. No follow-up. I look at certain guys. Leandro Higo, he's kind of like he's hit or miss. Sometimes he looks fantastic. Sometimes he doesn't. He has a hard time making the weight. It's a matter of time before he goes to 45, I think.
Yep.
James Gallagher, as much as I like him and as much as I think that he's better than people give him credit for, right now he's just not active enough. And what's he going to do now? Yeah, I know he doesn't fight. That's one. And two is, what is he going to do now that James Krause can't be in the corner? That shit's going to apply in Bellator from what I understand.
Oh.
So there's going to be no James Krause, the commission. There's no doubt.
There's no doubt that's going to apply in Bellator. So, you can't, right now you can't have that. So
where are you going to go? Where are you training? Who's cornering you? All of those things. And are you willing to bank your career on just being with the coach just for the training? And then when it comes corner time and week time, week time,
well, let's be honest. He had a coach before James Gallagher in John Kavanaugh.
Does he want to go back?
A very good coach. What's that?
Does he want to go back though? That's the thing.
That I can't tell you. I can't tell you the answer to that. But even at the end, you got Enrique Barzola, who's just a grinding, terrible fight for anybody because he's just hard nosed and just comes to push the pace on you and break you. And Brett Johnson's the same thing. Very good wrestling, good judo, good positional fighter, takes you down and grinds on you, beats on you. Enrique and Brett are both very similar in the way they approach the fight. I look at in this division again, some studs. Here, I would take Leandro Higo out, and I would take James Gallagher out right now. Mm-hmm. James Gallagher hasn't been fighting. He's been injured. He's got things he's got to take care of. And I think Higo's going to end up going to featherweight. So, I would move Barzola and Johns up, and you can take a look at any of those. Any of those are going to give a hard fight to the champion.
No, I agree. I agree with you. But listen to what we were talking about, I think, on the midweek show, is that when you look at the divisions, it really gets kind of watered down. And not that these guys are watered down, but this is probably the most stacked division we have in Bellator right now. But as you get to 9 and 10, with Leandro Higo and Gallagher and Enrique and Brett Johns, those guys, they're great fighters. But when I look at the UFC's 1 through 15, you got Syed Nurmagomedov as number 15.
Yeah.
You've got Umar at number 12. I mean 13. Okay, you know what I mean? They're stacked all the way to 15. We're in the 10, we're good, but it's gonna get real watered down. But they're not great at the last 4 or 5, that last 3 or 4, I should say. And they can be mixed interchangeably anywhere in that last. From Kyoji Horiguchi on up, those guys are just murderers row. Yeah. They're all good. And I know they mix up well. And Juan's fought at 45, he's fought at 55. He can fight anywhere. He's someone that puts the weight on and takes the weight off. So and he fights and he can fight anywhere. So they're all intermixing. They're all interchangeable, I should say. But Sergio really, like we said with the 35 pounders in the UFC, that guy is not safe.
No,
whoever that guy is,
dude. I don't care what they're not safe. Company you're working for in that division. You're not safe. Too many killers around you.
Yeah. Next,
featherweights.
All right, let's hop into these UFC featherweights.
Yes, sir.
Oof. Who's fighting for the interim title? It's Yair
Rodriguez and Josh Emmett, which is a great fight.
It's got to be careful, man. But I also, when you look at that fight, John, what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to your mind with that fight?
First thing that comes to my mind: power is a great thing to have, but technique and the ability to move and be slick normally negates the power because the power never gets to the place it's supposed to be. So I look at that, and Josh Emmett has a wrestling background. I really think that if he gets into a stand-up battle with Yair Rodriguez, he's making a huge mistake. He's not going to land the shots that he thinks he's going to land, and the rounds are going to slip by as Yair just puts a volume attack on him and starts to slow him down, and he's going to walk away with the win. I think if Josh Emmett decides to use that wrestling as his main way of putting him down and creating problems for him, he's got a good chance of winning that fight.
I think that Yair has gotten so good at his takedown defense since the Frankie Edgar fight. He's not even the same fighter anymore. I also think his ability to be a sniper with the calf kicks, the body kicks, and just mixing it up, and the way he hides his kicks behind his punches and he hides his punches behind his kicks, Josh Emmett's in for a lot of heat, a lot of trouble.
Oh, yeah.
I don't.
It's a tough fight for him.
I know he's got the knockout power and he's got the wrestling to get it in there and mix it up.
You got to get it. You got to get it on target. And when you're not as fast, that's rough.
Yair is so slick, so smooth, and I think that calf kick will really negate that power. When he starts kicking, I think if he kicks that calf, say 3 to 4 times, that power won't exist anymore. You got to put weight down.
At least not at the same level.
No, and you've talked. We've always, and you'll hear coaches say, you've got to be able to sit down in your punches to deliver your power.
Well, everything comes from the base of the building.
And if you can't put your weight down on your legs, you got no base, man. You can't throw the heat. And so I really look at that fight. I think it's Yair's fight to lose. Now, Josh Emmett was getting pieced up by Michael Johnson until the last second, and that changed the way that fight went real quick. It was over, done. And so it can happen, but Yair kicks a lot better than Michael Johnson does. Yair's very, very precise with his shots, and he understands what the ultimate game plan is. If he gets busy after that calf kick in that first 2 rounds, in rounds 4 and 5, Josh won't be the same fighter.
No, I agree. And it's just, again, styles make fights, and age is a difference maker because speed starts to go away the older you get. And it's tough, especially when you're fighting in the lower weights. You're fighting a young guy in the lower weights, stand by, man. Speed is a huge element in that. And Yair Rodriguez has got that speed.
Well, now you look at the rest of the division, though, John. I mean, this is where I look at this division, and I say, look, all these guys are great. Arnold Allen's still young. Josh Emmett is making, again, the shot as his title. Korean Zombie kind of on the downhill a little bit. Calvin Cater's kind of just plateaued. He's kind of plateaued.
But take a look at the guys at number 9 and 10.
Exactly.
Because those are my guys.
Exactly. Those two guys, I think will probably be fighting for the title by the end of 2023 or in that title talk.
They'll be in the title talk. They'll be up in those standings. So
yeah, I look at Arnold Allen, I look at Topuria, and I look at Evolov. Those 3 guys, I look at them being in that top. I look at them being in that top. Those top 4, I'd say 2 to 5.
Yeah,
right. Like Arnold Allen was already there. But I'm saying Topuria and Evolov, they're going to be up there real quick.
Yeah.
And I also think with Bryce Mitchell, I know he had a bad look, with Topuria, but not everyone can do what Topuria does. You put Bryce Mitchell against Chikadze, or you put him against Calvin Cater, or you put him against Korean Zombie. I think he has success against them, getting them down. I think he has success with snatching a leg, getting the takedown, putting in the grappling exchanges on him. It's going to be tough.
I agree with you. I think he has the ability to do that. I'm really questioning. Look, he talked about he was done. 1 loss, he was done, right? Because, hey, and confidence. When all of a sudden you go out there and things don't go your way, it's the first time it really doesn't go your way, and a guy puts a whooping on you like that, that occurred. Hey, it takes a lot for you to take and say, throw it out to the side and say, doesn't matter. I'm going to come back and do what I do. I think he can. I think you're right. But he's got to believe in himself. Yeah. And does he?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see, because matching him up against a Brian Ortega would be a great fight.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I'm giving him a big jump. But I'm saying like Giga Chikadze or Calvin Cater.
That one's not going to be an easy one because Brian can definitely match him.
Oh, absolutely.
On the ground.
Absolutely.
And so you look and you go, in the stand-up, Brian's a lot more technically sound than Bryce is. So I would like to see Giga Chikadze, as you're saying. Put the striker against the guy that's a grappler. If Giga can stop the takedowns, he's going to eat Bryce up. And if he can't, Bryce is going to submit him.
Let me ask you this, though. Like, for me, with Brian Ortega and him, like, Brian wouldn't even defend the takedowns. He's just like, fuck it, I go to the ground with you. Like, I'll show you who's better. Like, it's like,
possibly.
To me, that's a fight I'm like, all right, that's the fight I want to see.
But if you are Brian and you are slicker in the stand-up, and you realize that, maybe I'll just I'll fight the takedown and just piece you up.
This is true.
Let you take bad shots on me.
This is true. But you've got that mix-up of all those guys. You got Dan Ige at the bottom. Sodiq Youssef, he's down there as well. Caceres making another run.
But here's the one point I think we need to make at this. But we haven't talked about the guy that's the champion, who is moving to 155 for this fight against Makhachev. Mm-hmm. And that's all great. And, whether he wins or loses that, we'll see. But I still don't see anybody in top 15 there that touches him as the champion.
John, how dare you say we'll see if he wins
how
or loses
dare
that?
you?
Just say. just call it like it is.
Well,
he's a stud. He's doing a great thing.
I believe that Makhachev has the advantage in that fight. But we're not talking about lightweight. We're talking about featherweight right now. And who do you see beating Volkanovski at 145?
Honestly, I haven't seen enough of Evelev, but I think that he's got a good chance. He's good on the feet. He's got good takedown. He's physically strong. Yeah. Topuria's really been.
Topuria would be the one guy that I look and say he's got a chance.
He's got a chance, but
because he's got a well-rounded game. We're
going based off of his ability to fight guys that are not at Volkanovski's level, though. Also,
that's right.
And so when you match him up against someone like a Volk who just can take the fight anywhere and just dominate positions anywhere, but I also think that Topuria is a lot stronger than people think. And Volkanovski, I know, feels physically strong probably, but he's such a conditioned athlete where he uses his cardio to his advantage. Can someone like Topuria withstand in a 5-round fight that type of pace, that type of pressure, the speed of him as well? Topuria loads up a little bit on his shots so he can land clean, hard shots. He's got some power, but Volkanovski is so slick, getting in, getting out, using the kicks, using the wrestling, mixing it up. It's going to be dangerous. It's going to be dangerous, but he's got a ways to go, though. I want to see how he does against someone like Arnold Allen or Brian Ortega.
Yep, I agree. All right, for Bellator, we need the featherweights, Dave. I don't want to see bantamweights. Featherweights. Thank you very much. And we got the guy that's the one holding up the building. The pillar is Patricio Pitbull at champion. You can take AJ McKee's name off of that list. It doesn't belong on the list because he's not going back down to featherweight. The real question is, you got Aaron Pico, who had the injury against Jeremy Kennedy with this shoulder separation. He had surgery on it. You got some really tough guys in Justin Gonzalez and Mads Burnell. Timur Kizriev, very good fighter, tough as hell. Got a lot of skill set. Lucas Brennan coming in at number 10, talented, super talented submission guy, but not a guy that you're looking at to stay right now in any kind of thought process of getting to the championship. Borch being number 1, Carvalho being number 3. I actually look at the guys that are down in that 8, 7, 6. They're the ones that I think can create more problems, 5, for Patricio than the guys that are in that 1 and 3.
Yeah.
Because AJ I'm taking out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at him. He's already proved that Patricio can just keep him
control
at bay.
the fight,
control the tempo, control the distance,
hit him with enough power that makes him hesitate.
Yeah, AJ McKee is gone. He's at 55. He will not be coming back. So I don't know why the rankings still have him there. Aaron Pico, Pedro Cavallo. He's already fought Patricio. Just stylistically, it's a bad matchup for him.
Yep.
Patricio possesses too much power, too hard to take down, controls distance too well. We're going to see Patricio, I think, go to 35 and really challenge himself. He may end up getting that shot against Sergio first. And that's a great fight.
I tell you, I just don't know how he makes that weight without actually hurting himself.
I guess we'll see. I mean, he said that his weight hasn't been able to stay on lately. That's what he's having a hard time with because he's getting older. So, but I start looking at the guys that he'll potentially have a hard time with. I think he'll have a hard time with someone like an Aaron Pico, and not right now because Aaron's hurt. But I think with Aaron in a fight or two, you may have a hard time with him because the boxing's there,
the speed,
but then the wrestling, the control. Aaron's got to avoid that, that arm and guillotine. But outside of avoiding that, Patricio's gonna have a hard time with him. I think Patricio will be able to get back up, but the wrestling, the continuous,
he'll definitely be able to get back up
to wrestle. Yeah, the continuation of wrestling back to back to back will slow Patricio down. Patricio is he fights conservative. He fights at the pace because he can control the tempo because he possesses the power. With Aaron Pico, I don't know if he's going to be able to do that because Aaron can just wrestle him with avoiding that arm and guillotine, wrestle him and tend to get him to slow down. If he keeps that output going, it should end up being a good fight. Now, I'm not saying Patricio couldn't get it done still. Jeremy Kennedy, same thing. He's so big. He's huge for the weight. He's a big guy, but he also is very one-dimensional. He'll strike a little bit, but he's just straight wrestling. He'll have a hard time with Patricio, but the size may play a factor if he's able to hang on Patricio, press him to the fence, try to drag him down. He's got to avoid the big shots. That gives a little bit of problems. I don't think Mads gives him a problem at all, Patricio. Justin Gonzalez, I don't think gives him a problem at all. Not as of right now. Timur, he interests me. He's 12-0, but he's young. He's like 21,
Super
22
young.
years old. He's young. He's a baby.
Yep.
But he's good. He's good. And he showed that against Daniel Weichel, who's got a 42-14 record. He showed that how he controlled the tempo of the fight. He really kept Daniel Weichel at bay.
Put the fight where he wanted it to be.
Exactly. Timur is the guy that interests me probably the most out of all of these young guys because he is 12-0. He comes from that Russian style, Dagestan kind of style of wrestling. I know I don't think he's Dagestani. But he's got like that style of wrestling that just really can keep people guessing. He can wrestle you, he can strike with you, and he's got such confidence. Remember when we interviewed him and we talked to him in the fighter meetings? He's just like, these guys are on my level. These guys can't beat me. And I'm just like, dude, you're like 20 years old or 21 years old. I know. And he believes.
But I look at that and at number 8 and number 4, the two guys that I think right now have the possibility of creating some type of problem for the guy that's the champ. Other than that, I don't see anybody taking that title from Patricio in the year 2023.
But I also look this is the problem that I have with the Bellator rankings. How is Jeremy Kennedy ranked below Aaron Pico after he just beat him? And I know it was an injury.
I know.
This is so stupid to me. Like this is when I get on the media, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm talking about. The media does the Bellator rankings. John and I have no say. Coker has no say. The matchmakers don't have any say. No one at Bellator has any say where any of these fighters go. It's all the media. So when you guys, this is why I just get so frustrated. I'm like, he just beat him his last fight. Yep. How is he not ranked ahead of him?
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah. If you just want to put him number 5, make him number 5. That's fine. Put him to the number 4. Like Jeremy should be number 4. Aaron Pico should be number 5. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that the media doesn't. This is what I talk about. The media doesn't cover the sport. They don't cover it. They're obviously not paying attention. So, all right, next.
All right, let's hop into UFC lightweights.
All right, let's take a look. Obviously, we've got the championship fight in the lightweight division between Alexander Volkanovski, the pound-for-pound king, going against the man that just won the title, Islam Makhachev. Okay, I'm just gonna say this.
Go ahead, John.
Hold on.
I want to hear the words come out of your mouth.
I gotta get ready to get the taste of vinegar out of my mouth here. Now, look, Makhachev is a stud. We've both known that. I play off of it and see, and I put you in positions to. Oh, shut up! Everyone knows. Like, this guy is fantastic. I don't see anybody, and I'm being honest. Obviously, anybody can lose, and he can get hit with a shot that can put him out. That has happened. I don't see it really happening again. This division, if you go from 15 with Grant Dawson, who was really a fun fighter to watch, into Drew Dober, who you talked about on our last show, Moicano is just fantastic in what he's been doing. Going up, Jalen Turner coming out. Jalen Turner is a monster at 155 pounds, fighting out of Costa Mesa, California, and the Ruka gym. Gamrot, great wrestling. Fiziev, great stand-up. And then you got your top 5 that have kind of stayed the same for a while. Beneil gets pushed up and down a little bit, and I don't think he gets near the credit that he deserves for how good of a fighter he actually is. Chandler coming off of a loss. Gaethje coming off of a loss. Poirier coming off of a loss. Oliveira coming off of a loss. There's a lot. The only guy that's got a win in there in that top 5 in the last fight is Dariush.
Yeah.
I just look at it and I don't see any of them truly challenging Islam Makhachev for that title in 2023.
The only one would be Dariush. That's it. There's not.
I'm being honest, and I love Beneil. He just doesn't have the style to beat, in my opinion, to beat Makhachev.
You know what? I'm glad you said that. He's the only one that I think has the style to beat him. You want to know why?
Because he's so unorthodox.
Yes. He doesn't fight like a normal fighter. You want to stand and trade with Islam? I'll take you down. You want to wrestle with me? I'll stuff your takedowns and force you to stand. Dariush doesn't give a fuck where you take the fight. That's what made Charles Oliveira so damn good, was I'll stand with you, I'll drop you, I'll get on top of you, and I'll submit you. That's what made Charles who Charles is. Islam has that at the next step. But Dariush, Charles still fights it like as if it's like he has technique to it all, which so does Dariush, but he does it in a very wild, crazy,
awkward, weird way. Yes.
Like you're not expecting someone to go Granby roll right out of something into a leg lock, into a sit up and sweep, and then Charles is gonna hit the ground, he's gonna pull his guard, he's gonna try to attack his submissions. Dariush is not really trying to do that. He's not trying to allow you to lock your hands around his body and get you taken down. If you do that, if you do take him down, he's going to Granby roll. And if he Granby roll, then he's going to start fighting the hands. He's going to turn and face. He's going to give up position. He's going to fight.
He will give up position.
He'll give up position and fight at a pace that Islam, I know he's always in phenomenal shape, but he likes to slow it down, control you, show his dominance by just squeezing you and letting you know, hey, I'm physically stronger than you and I can dominate, and just kind of sucks the will out of you. How Habib used to do it. But I look at all those guys, none of those guys. And then not until I get to Gamrot. Gamrot shows me a lot of interest. I do. But then you look at Gamrot, you look at Dariush, and I'm going to go all the way back down to Saryukin again. That young man,
that young man's a stud.
He is a stud.
Yeah.
I'm not going to change my mind on him, man. I've loved him ever since he fought Islam, even though I wanted Islam to win. He impressed me. He impressed me with everything. He's gotten so much better. His jab, his combinations, his stand-up is so much better, and he utilizes his wrestling so well with his stand-up. John, that kid, if Islam decides to go to 70, I could see it being a Dariush, Saryukin, Gamrot type run division. Those 3 guys are the 3 best guys. Now I'm going to get into Ismagulov. He's fantastic as well. Yeah, but he's got some ways to go. He's got some growing to do. But I look at him, he's a fantastic fighter. But like Moicano's good, Dober's good, but they lack in certain areas that I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Saryukians, the Gamrots,
I agree,
obviously, and the Dariush. Now I can see those other guys making a good run against, some of the other guys, whether it's Fiziev, whether it's Chandler, whether it's Gaethje, whether it's Dustin. Dustin, I think, still got a lot of left in the tank. And the same thing with Charles Oliveira. Those 2 guys, they'll be at the top for significantly longer. But like Justin, he's probably getting a little frustrated. I've had 2 title shots. When will I get another one? Will I get another one? And then I've got to fight Murderer's Row to get back to that title shot because he's already had his 2 title shots. And they're both finished. They're both submission losses. Yeah. And so if you're the UFC, you're looking at him going, okay, who do we match him up against? Maybe we match him up against Fiziev to make it a barn burner fight.
That's a great fight.
That's a great fight.
Love to see it.
But if you were to match him up against someone like a Gamrot or a Saryukian, the wrestling, the wrestling.
Well, you can be honest with that division. You're taking a look, and you were talking about like Dober, and Ismagulov is a very good wrestler. He's got good wrestling. All right. And then you take a look at Dan Hooker. He's got good defensive wrestling. His offensive wrestling is not real, but he's got good defensive wrestling. But, there's guys out there that you're looking at. Turner actually has got pretty good wrestling. And so he's in there, but Sarukian's got fantastic wrestling. RDA, if he's going to be in this division, I don't know if he's going to be in this one or if he's going to be in the welterweights, but RDA actually wrestles a lot better than people realize.
Yeah,
he's very tenacious. He continues to chain, his techniques together. He's a great wrestler. Gamrot's a great wrestler. Fiziev is not a great wrestler. Good defensive wrestling, but not a great wrestler. Chandler doesn't use wrestling. Dariush is actually a good wrestler. And so, you're looking, you've got to be a good grappler in the lightweights, or you can't fight in this division. No. It's tough, and it's the one thing that I think Fiziev has really shown is, his grappling has really come up. His ability to defend, obviously he's not taking guys down, but his ability to defend it has put him in that place where, he can compete with everyone.
Yeah. This division's stacked, but it starts to get a little watered down when you get past Sarukian. I love Jalen Turner. I think he's fantastic. You get Dan Hooker. Ismagulov, he's got some growth to do still. And then Moicano, he's really good on the feet, really good on the ground. But they've also got some miles on him. Drew Dober, stylistically, he's going to have to start wrestling a little bit better if he's going to get up into that upper echelon of fighters, especially when you look up there, right? Dustin Poirier can wrestle. Michael Chandler can wrestle or never uses it. Dariush can go anywhere. Justin Gaethje's got a good takedown defense until you get to the upper level of wrestlers. And then it's non-existent. Once they get him down, he struggles. And that was the backstory on him for years, man. Yeah. Is that once you got him down, he had no grappling. If you go back to even his fights when he fought Buscape in World Series of Fighting.
World Series of Fighting.
He got taken down.
I think that was his last fight in the World Series of Fighting, wasn't it?
It was. It was New Year's Eve in New York at the MSG little room there that they had for
Hulu Theater.
And so I was there for that, and he was losing that fight up until the cut.
Oh yeah,
he
was taking him down.
Taking him down, controlling the position. It was like the cut across the bottom of the eye. It was swollen. He could still see, but I think because New York is relatively a new commission, they were like they didn't want to take any chances. Nope, fight's over. But there was one more round left, and he was going to win that. Probably win that round because he had dominated the whole fight up until then. It was a good fight, though.
Yeah.
Next.
Now we're getting into Bellators. Man, I'll tell you what. Usman Nurmagomedov just took the title from Patricky. I honestly don't think Patricky should be at number one. But again, we don't do the rankings here. You're taking a look at this, and it's just a matter of, you got Rabadanov at number 10. Okay. You think he deserves to be at number 10? No, he should be higher than that.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you just take a look, and I look at these, and as it goes down, Usman has got a ton of talent, and we're going to see him for a long time being very good. Benson being up there for his, all this time, the fact that he's still in the chase is amazing. But he signed a 4-fight contract, and he said, this is it.
Yeah.
These are his last fights. And so I honestly think you're going to see, they're going to do that, the lightweight World Grand Prix. It's going to have some fantastic fighters in it. Like you said, I would love to see, guys from other places coming in. I would love to see, obviously it's not going to happen with Shane Burgos, but there's a possibility it could happen with Satoshi Souza. I would love to see him as part of it. You're going to see Nurmagomedov in there. Musayev, he's a killer on the feet. He had a great fight with Patricky from Japan. Alexander Shably's stand-up is clean. It's crisp. It's sharp. Now, his wrestling is good. Just his ground defense is not great. When he's on the ground, he's not dangerous. Brent Primus, dangerous on the ground. Sidney Outlaw, dangerous on the ground. Islam Mamedov is a guy you look at, man, he is a stifling fighter. That's why he's 22-2 as a fighter, but not real exciting. So you wonder, is he even going to make it in there? AJ McKee, he's going to make it into that tournament, as one of the things. And like I said, Rabadanov right now, he's outside of the equation, and he shouldn't be. He should definitely be in that tournament.
Yeah.
But there is a question of, he's got a teammate in Usman Nurmagomedov.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll fight each other.
Yeah, I can tell you right now that Mamedov's not going to be in the tournament. Rabadanov's not going to be in the tournament. Neither one of those guys will be in the tournament. You'll have Usman Nurmagomedov in the tournament unless something happens where he's out, like how Pettis hurt his knee, had to be out for the tournament. So that being said, I think you'll have Tofik, you'll have Benson, you'll have Shabli, you'll have Sydney, you'll have maybe Brent Primus and AJ McKee. That'll be your lineup. I don't know if Peter Quilley's going to make it. And I'm also not shutting the door on Ryzen Fighter coming over and being part of this tournament. I'm not shutting the door on that yet.
I'd love to see it. Or I think Eddie Alvarez. I know that's not happen.
I know. I actually try to make a pitch for that, man. I'd love to have him come in. And
I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see Eddie in this tournament. So, just a little bit of that nostalgia of Eddie Alvarez coming back to Bellator, entering the tournament format.
Being a guy that's won it everywhere he's gone, man. He's won. Yeah. So
yep.
Well, except for one.
If I was to put him in, man, the fight we never got to see was him and Benson Henderson. That'd be my first fight.
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be my first fight. Hey, you guys got a lot of history there. A lot of legends in those two. Just they fought so many people, champion everywhere they've went. Great stuff, man. Great. So I look at that. I look at this lightweight tournament. Definitely, it's going to be fun. I want to know who's going to be in, who's going to be out. I kind of look at it: Usman, Patricky, Tofik, Benson, Shabli, Sydney, Brent, and then I think you slide AJ up into that Islam Mamedov spot, and that's who you have. Yeah, that's it.
I think you're about right.
I don't see anybody else in there right now. Good stuff. All right, next one.
All right, we've got the welterweight division with Leon Rocky Edwards being the man who is sitting on top as the champion, looking for someone to try to take his title. I saw Kamaru Usman, he had a show that he did, still got, wrap on his hand and stuff, showing that he's still got an injury there. Is he going to be the guy that's going to get that shot? I don't know. I would think that he deserves it. I would think it's the right fight to make. I think it should be made over in the UK where Rocky gets to fight on his turf. But Kamaru Usman against Leon Edwards, that really should be the matchup as a rematch. And then you got the real question of Colby Covington sitting there on the outside with Chimaev. Bilal Muhammad, who has been looking fantastic. Gilbert Burns is always a problem. Now he's already got a fight that he's going to be going with. But you take a look at this, it should be just as it's ranked, in my opinion. You should have Leon Edwards fighting Kamaru. You should have Colby Covington fighting Chimaev. Now, the question is Chimaev going to be fighting as a welterweight, or are they going to move him to middleweight? Because right now they've got him listed in the welterweights, not in the middleweights.
John, let me educate you.
Okay, you educate.
I think honestly what you do is Kamaru will probably sit out until he's healthy. Make sure he's 100% healthy, and you slide Bilal Muhammad in there. You do not allow Colby Covington and Khamzat Chimaev to slide by without fighting each other.
Thank you.
Those two guys need to fight each other before they go any direction. Khamzat needs to show that he can make 170, and he can be professional enough to carry a main event against someone like Colby Covington. Colby Covington needs to get off of his ass and stop sitting on the sideline, waiting for all the guys that have already lost to come out and fight so he can go ahead and get another title shot. I'm getting sick of hearing this guy talk about this, talk about that. Well, here it is, buddy. You're at the top, but you're not going to be there much longer if you don't fight soon. Him and Chimaev should be the fight.
I agree.
That's it. Look, if it's not going to be him, I'm okay with Gilbert Burns and Colby Covington. I'm okay with that fight. I mean, I prefer the Chimaev and Colby fight. I prefer that fight, but Chimaev's got to make weight. He's got to fight a top level guy. He's got to fight someone in that top 2 or 3 before he gets a title shot. He didn't make weight his last fight, and he missed it by a lot.
By a lot.
If he had missed it by a pound, I'd be like, you know what?
Different.
I get it. My perception of it is different. Everybody else's perception of it should be different. If you miss weight by a pound and a half, I'll give you a little bit of leeway. Coming from 185. You fought at 85. You're a stud at 85. We get you. You're trying to make that weight down there at 70. I'm supportive of that. Now, next time, you got to make it. Okay, but I get it. But I'll go ahead and give you a title shot. I would have probably given him a title shot. But 8-9 pounds?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. It's just unprofessional. Very unprofessional.
Yeah. Can't do it.
But then I get into these rankings down here, right? You've got Sean Brady coming up. You got Vicente Luque, who's dropped quite a bit. You've got Rachmaninoff, you've got Masvidal, Neil Magny, Chiesa, all those. When I get down past Sean Brady, Jeff Neal's making a run right now. Stephen Thompson just showed how good he is when he beat Kevin Holland. I was eating my words for that, by the way, John. At least I'm admitting it. I was eating my words. I thought Kevin Holland was going to fight a smarter fight. Didn't. So he just, and I also thought that Kevin Holland would be the faster fighter. He wasn't.
It's all right.
I thought the reach would be an advantage too. Definitely didn't use that. So couldn't have fought a worse way to make me look stupid. But I look at Bilal. If Kamaru is out, Bilal should be the next guy for a title shot. You cannot let those two guys get past or get to a title shot or close to a title shot without fighting each other.
I agree.
All right. Next.
You got Bellator's welterweight.
Very simply put, you got this fight coming up from in February. I'm sorry, February. End of February 25th, I believe, from Dublin, Ireland. Yaroslav Amosov coming off of a fairly long layoff. You know, he went to fight for his country in the Ukraine and stuff. Going against a guy he's already faced one time. He's got the win against Logan Storley, who won the interim title. It's as good as it gets as far as, you know, a matchup. The first fight was action-packed. It was fun. It was 3 rounds. And in those 3 rounds, I thought that Amosov won the first 2 and was getting tired in the 3rd round, and Storley was coming on, and he ran out of time. We're going to find out if those 2 championship rounds can make a difference for Logan Storley in this one, because no one has ever beaten Yaroslav Amosov. He is got the best record in MMA, and he deserves it because he's a stud.
This is a hard fight because I have so much respect for Amosov.
Both.
Going off. For both of them, yes.
Yeah.
But for him to go off, defend his country, come back, and then his first fight back is against basically your arch nemesis, someone that you know is going to get, who gave you your toughest fight to date. Now you're going to have to fight this guy as your return fight after, 15 months off.
One.
You're like, shit. So all those little things you're going to have to work on. And I really would like to see him keep his undefeated record, because outside of Habib being 29-0, he has the next best record in the sport, period. And so it's nice, but Logan Storley has been active. He has been so active since Amosov's been gone, and he's gotten so much better since Amosov has been gone. His stand-up has gotten better. He believes now more in his stand-up. His conditioning has gotten better. His fight against MVP, not the most exciting fight. Definitely not. But MVP's not someone you can really take a lot of chances with. But then when you saw him fight Naaman Gracie, that fight right there to me was perfect, man. He fought a perfect fight. Stuck and moved, touch, uppercuts, left hooks, wrestled a little bit. He mixed it up everywhere.
Took big shots to give big shots.
Exactly. So I look at this. I look at where this division plays out. I want to see, and I'll continue to want to see this fight over and over, is Jason Jackson and MVP. Why have we not gotten this fight yet? Why have I not got this fight? I want to see MVP versus Jason Jackson. Let's go. What's taking so long to make this fight? This fight should have already happened.
I agree with you in that one, but if you don't give me MVP versus Jason Jackson, then give me Jason Jackson versus Andrei Koreshkov.
All right, that's cool. I can get behind that.
Great fight.
I can get behind that. But what are we doing with MVP, man? He's had his 2 title shots. He came up short. I want to see it. I want to see Jason Jackson MVP, or I agree with you, Koreshkov and Jason Jackson, but MVP's got to be somewhere in there. I mean, Yamuchi coming off of a great fight over Naaman Gracie. Good fight for him.
And once again, the media does their job, and Jaleel Willis, who just beat Kyle Crutchmer, he's below him.
It's so embarrassing, man.
Oh my God.
That was literally their last fight a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
And he's still ranked.
It was December 9th.
Jeez, man. So embarrassing. So embarrassing.
The best.
But what do you do with someone like Sabah Hamasi?
He's got a big fight coming up. He's fighting Brendan Warren
on CBS.
And you're looking at, it's a dangerous fight, but this is actually, when you're looking at someone, in my opinion, like Sabah Hamasi, this is his kind of fight. This is the fights that he is made for. This is what he lives for. This is where he shines, is against a guy who will really come out and stand there and throw leather with him and say, let's throw it up in the air and see what happens. And you know what? He's just ready to exchange with guys. But yeah, the one thing I'll give him, he has been fighting smarter. He took Jaleel Willis down. He got the submission win. He's got that ability. And so I look and I go, that's smart. That's the way you should do this. Yeah. But every time that he goes into those wars, they are fun. So they're fun to watch. So I enjoy watching him fight.
That fight with Brennan Ward should be real good. That'll be on February
should.
4th and on CBS. All right, next.
Let's look at UFC middleweight.
All right, we've got the man Alex Pereira, who just dethroned Israel Adesanya. And this throws a big wrench into everything with the middleweight division, which is good because it needed it. Israel had been so dominant, had been clearing out a lot of the competition there. I look at this was a good thing for the UFC's middleweight division. It opens things up. You have different people that you can put in here now as matchups, because Izzy's not the top guy as far as he's not the champion. You got a champion that you could put Robert Whittaker against. You got a champion that you could put guys like, it would be kind of fun to see Paulo Costa going against Alex. I would love to see, when you're talking about Roman Dolidze, man, put Roman Dolidze up a couple things. Let's see him against Marvin Vettori. Let's see him against Izzy Adesanya. That would be fun to watch. This guy's a stud. It just opened things up. Andre Muniz sitting all the way down at number 11. Look, he's got a lot of potential. That guy is good. He's got a great freaking submission game. He freaking broke the arm of Jacare. The dude can work off of his back. He's got good stand-up. This division now, in a lot of ways, is really opened up. It's in a place where, Duplessis just got the win against Till. He's got a fight. Who he's already matched up. Who's he matched up with? Who's Duplessis? Oh, Brunson. He's going to be fighting Brunson.
Yep.
So that's a good matchup. I look at that. Derek Brunson's you better get rid of him fast, because you know what? If that thing goes in the third round, Brunson's going to be sucking wind, and Duplessis is going to be putting it on him.
Here's my question. The UFC, do they have Izzy fight him directly? He's already beat him twice before. I know it wasn't MMA, but now he's beaten him 3 times. Do you have Izzy go to an automatic rematch because he was such a long-standing? In the way that we normally talk, John, we always say you have to run that fight back because Izzy was such a long-standing champion. He had beaten everybody. He cleared out the division. Now you have Pereira, who came in and beat him. Do you give Izzy the automatic rematch, or do you slide Whittaker in there? Because now that really spruces things up. And do you give Izzy somebody like a Sean Strickland, just because he likes to stand and bang, or do you give him the Roman Dolidze? Do you give him a fight like that, where like the up and comer has a potential to like shake up the division? He's been so dominant. Will he be as dominant after coming off of a loss?
I think, and again, he deserves the rematch based upon his body of work. If I was UFC, I would try to talk him out of it. Say, hey, let's get you a good fight where, you know what, you feel good about it, and then we'll bring you back for that rematch. But it's up to him. Does he deserve it? He deserves it. Is he going to want it? I think he's going to want it. He's not going to want to wait. But if I'm the UFC, I can do more by setting him off on a different fight and working it out than I can with if I give him the rematch. The
problem with not giving him the rematch is that he's already beat Whittaker. He's already beat Cannonier. He's already beat Marvin.
That's the problem.
Marvin Vettori.
So if he comes back and he becomes champion.
Did he fight Brunson?
No. He fought Brunson long ago.
Did he?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
He beat Brunson, I believe. Didn't he fight Brunson? It might be one
I don't recall. But look, in that division, though, when I'm looking at that division, like he's already wiped out kind of that division. Yeah, he lost to him right there.
Boom.
Oh, in the first round, TKO, knees, punches. There you go. I mean, maybe that's a rematch. Maybe that, like if Brunson gets past
Duplessis?
Duplessis, maybe you have him fight, him in a rematch. I mean, then stylistically, it's a tough fight for him and stuff in the takedowns, but on top of it, it's a fight Derek Brunson would like to get back, and Izzy just is someone that has finished him easily and potentially may do it again. You never know.
Nope.
But he's already just fought all the other top 3 guys. He's just fought.
So if you were going to give, you could choose someone out of the top 15 to put in a championship fight against Pereira, who would it be?
Strickland. Oh no, sorry, to put against Pereira.
Yeah.
Whittaker.
I was going to say Strickland. You just knocked him out.
No.
Whittaker.
I put Whittaker. Absolutely. Okay. The guy deserves it.
Okay.
He's been a company man. He fights his ass off. He's beaten out that division. He's cleaned out the division as well. If I'm gonna say it, if it wasn't gonna be Izzy, I'd say Whitaker.
Okay.
And not just because he's ranked right there, even though he is still ranked there, but he's done such a great job of beating all these other fighters that have been there. You know, outside of that, then if I would say with Izzy, I may give him the Paulo Costa, then just tell Paulo Costa not to drink wine. Maybe we'll get a better fight. Just
buying into that one. Huh? All right, here
yeah.
we go. All right, middleweight division of Bellator. You have Johnny Eblen, who took the title from Gegard Mousasi. We got Fabian Edwards, Anatoly Tokov. So Johnny Eblen will be defending his title against Anatoly Tokov on February 4th from Los Angeles on CBS. So you can watch that fight. Anatoly Tokov 31-2. The dude is a stud. He good wrestling, good sambo, power in his hands. He takes a good shot. He recovers really well when he does get blasted. But Johnny Eblen's been on a different. Every time he goes out there, he has been getting better and better and better. How much longer can he get better?
I mean, I have him as my breakout fighter, but I also think in this year that I don't see anybody in this division right now that can beat him. Now, there is one guy that I think, but he's not in this division. He's in this division, but he's not ranked. Is Costello Vanstinas.
Yeah.
I look at Costello Vanstinas because he was out for so long. I know he just had his return fight. He looked impressive. He looked good. I look for him to really make a run. He is in that top 1 or 2. The only reason why he doesn't make such a charge is because he trained.
No, what I need to know is how is it that Costello Vanstinas, who got a win in his last fight, who is record-wise 17-1, 17-2,
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. How is he not in the top 10 here? Who has lost their freaking mind?
Media, let me know.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, because, I mean, and nothing against. I'm not saying anything against Aaron Jeffrey, Austin Vanderford.
Aaron Jeffrey's a good fighter.
Yeah, and Austin
Very
Vanderford,
good, well-rounded fighter.
Austin Vanderford would maybe give him some issues in terms of the wrestling, but as the fight went on, just the feet would be such a problem. He's so aggressive.
Yep.
So aggressive. So, you know, and Lorenz Larkin on the feet, just the size. I think the physical size of Costello Vanstinas would be too much for Lorenz Larkin on the feet. You know, and then you look at Anthony Adams, even my boy Romero Cotton, man, he'd have a hard time. I think he'd have a hard time. He'd be able to get him down, but the submission threat is there, and the body size, the height, the reach, all of those things, and the kickboxing level, different level. Dalton Ross is making a huge run.
That's the guy.
That's the guy that may end up giving problems to a lot of people. He's going to be kind of my breakout star, I think, for this year. Like, I'm looking at him going, he's someone that, as long as he stays on track, and the way when we talk to him, how focused he is, like, this is my goal. Yeah. This is my goal. This is what I plan on doing, and he's not distracted by anything. He's he's a younger version of Johnny Eblen. You know, he understands what his goal is, and the two of them train together with Austin Vanderford
Which says a lot.
And Amosov. You know what I mean? So they all train together. They understand where they're at. And just this, I wouldn't be surprised if Bellator, after the lightweight tournament, this was the next division they did a tournament in. Because you throw Vanstinas in there, you got Eblen in there, you still got Gegard in there a little bit, you got Fabian Edwards starting to kind of make a resurgence, understanding, hey, my brother became champion at the UFC. Why am I not the champion yet? With all the same talents and ability. And then Anatoly Tokov now has got the visa issues all settled up after 2.5 years of no visa. You know, John Salter's hit or miss. You know, sometimes he comes in, he just tears people up. And Dalton Ross right now is making that run. Aaron Jeffrey's still a very tough guy. Vanderford, Larkin can never be underestimated. The feet, the ability to stop takedowns, so quick. I could see them doing a tournament at 185 pounds after this lightweight tournament.
Possibly.
Next.
All right, we got 205 light heavyweight at the UFC.
I tell you what, this is a division in turmoil right now.
Yeah, it's a fucking disaster right now.
It's like, man, you just take a look. Look, Yuri Prohaska is he's the champion, even though he's not the champion. He sat his belt down because of the injury he got with his shoulder, and he's going to take some time. The Ankalaev versus Blachowicz fight ending in a draw did nothing to appease anybody and cause nothing but problems for the UFC. And they have problems with injuries. You know, Prohaska is injured. Rakic is injured. You got Jamal Hill, who was supposed to fight Glover, who is now injured. So Jamal Hill, I believe, is fighting.
It's Jamahal Hill.
I'm sorry, Jamal. I can't even say it wrong.
Podcast,
Jamal-
Dave. Say it
Jamal
again,
Hill,
buddy.
according to-
Jamahal Hill.
Jamaho?
But Jamal Hill is going to be fighting Anthony Smith, who they were training together.
Mm-hmm.
So this whole division right now is kind of a mess. It's a mess. I think that Jamal Hill is a good person to put in there. I really liked what Ryan Spann did in his last fight. I thought Ryan Spann looked fantastic in his last fight. And he talked about it's the only time I've ever trained. It's like, well, son, get back to it because you looked freaking great doing it.
Jeez.
And then you got guys like Paul Craig. He's fun to watch. He's very one-dimensional. He scares you to death in the stand-up, and sometimes scares you to death even on the ground when he's looking for submissions and accepting damage as he looks for them. But we'll see what happens with Johnny Walker. He's had a nice fight in his last fight. He's coming back. But this whole grouping, we're going to see what happens with Smith versus Hill. But this is the one that the UFC is just shaking its head at because it used to be a cornerstone of stability and studs.
Yeah, this was the division that held up the UFC.
Absolutely.
This is
from
what
Chuck
this
Liddell.
Yep.
Randy
Ortiz,
Couture,
Chuck Liddell,
Tito
Randy
Ortiz.
Couture. Yeah, this division is what held
all
up
the
their
way
promotion.
Dan Cormier, John Jones. Jones was in charge of this damn division for how long? But you just look and it's like it's in disarray right now.
No, absolutely. Yuri, I don't know how long until he comes back, if he ever does come back. We'll see.
You don't know.
But Glover's kind of on his way out, but he's gonna have one more fight. At least one more or two more. You've got Magomed Ankalaev. He's coming off that disappointing draw right now at the Jan Blachowicz. Rakic's out probably for a little bit longer. He's probably got another 6 months because of the knee. I mean, you've got all these things. Anthony Smith's now fighting Glover. Is that the case?
Anthony Smith is fighting Hill.
Oh, Hill. Sorry, Jamal.
Glover pulled out.
Yeah,
Glover was
Glover's out.
supposed to fight Jamal Hill, and then he pulled out.
When I look at the rest of this division, though, outside of Ryan Spann, none of them really impressed me. Krylov's good, but you got Jamal Hill. You got, the rest of them right now, like I said, I've said this for the longest time. I said it earlier, too, on the midweek show. Glover's kind of on his way out at his age, okay? Jan Blachowicz, he will be kind of on his way out here because of his age.
Yeah.
Anthony Smith, he's not old, but he's had a lot of fights, man.
A lot of fights.
And he's had some
And
early
a lot
in
of
his
damage at
career.
times.
He had a lot of damage he taken early in his career too. He lost some big time fights in Strikeforce.
Yep.
Reminder, Strikeforce, guys.
Yeah.
So he's been fighting a long time. He's a talented fighter. He's a great fighter, but he's got his hands full in terms of he's got some miles on him.
But he really has the ability in this fight against Hill. I don't think that he can stay with Hill in the stand up. And Anthony came in as a stand up fighter. His ground game has really gotten a lot better, and I do think that he has the ability to take advantage if the fight hits the ground with Hill, who is adequate on the ground, not great.
Yeah. The Krylov in there is just kind of like he's there. He can make a run. I just don't know how deep or how far just yet.
Yeah.
That's it. And the rest of them down below, outside of Ryan Spann, as long as he trains, apparently he does very well when he trains.
Oh,
So if we can just see more of that guy, then that guy can make a run up into that quick 4 and 5. Because, like I said, Glover and Jan, I give Jan maybe another 2 years. Another 2 years.
Can I just interject real quick? You guys are saying Anthony Smith versus Jamal Hill?
yes.
No, I didn't know. Who is it?
No. I'm saying that I'm not seeing a report on that.
Yeah, so Jamal Hill someone took the place of Glover Teixeira. Now, I remember that Anthony Smith and Jamal Hill were training together. I know they were laughing about if we were to match up. Apparently, John's saying that match happened, right?
From what I heard, it was Anthony Smith was taking that spot. You can't find that up on anything?
No. No.
I think because I saw something where they
So who does that?
interview together.
Do me a favor, look up Jamal Hill and see who they have him fighting.
Yeah, that's this first pay-per-view coming up, buddy.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm looking at UFC. Yeah, I mean UFC still has it as thingy, but
What are you
they
looking
Why
at?
don't you look up Jamal Hill's record, and I bet you it'll say who he's matched
What
up
are
against
you
next.
looking at? What is
John,
wrong with you?
John,
and you're
John.
wondering why Jamie won the podcast producer of the year award.
John, I have about 3 different screens. Okay, so you don't have to worry about which screen I'm on.
Boy.
Don't.
Well,
yeah, the
obviously
UFC
your
still
screens
has-
suck because you have Glover Teixeira against Hill, and he's already pulled out.
All right. Well,
Why don't you
Let's
look
go.
up Sherdog? Look up Sherdog and look up Jamal Hill's record, and then it still has Glover there
has
too.
it. I don't know.
Interesting.
Wow.
I mean, I'm looking at the Glover Teixeira injured, and the most I'm getting is November when he fought Yuri. That's the most I'm getting. So you guys got
Interesting.
some insider information there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was told it was Anthony. We'll see.
All right.
Maybe
well,
not.
We have to clarify
Maybe
that.
not. I could be wrong.
We'll have to clarify that. All right.
Yeah.
Next in the 205s
Right,
for Bellator.
205.
Well, right there, you're looking at the best light heavyweight in the world right now.
Absolutely. Are you looking at the best too?
Yeah, Vadim Nemkov, Corey Anderson. You got Phil Davis. Get rid of Ryan Bader's name again. What is with you people? Get a freaking clue. Yoel Romero. Obviously, we all know what he can do. He's obviously up in age, but there's something freaky about him.
Yeah.
You saw what the doctor said about him. It's like I've never seen anything like this.
No, it's
Like
crazy.
well, neither have we.
I'm just glad he didn't waste it. I'm glad that he's somebody that's just utilizing this all the way till the end, man.
Oh yeah.
How blessed is that?
Hello.
I've seen plenty of guys and females also in just training that had all these God-given talents and just fucking wasted it. Just blew it. Just sat on the side. People that just got sat around and did shit like nothing. Drove me crazy, man, because I never had it. And I always had to work hard for my shit. Ugh. Anyways, go ahead.
But you take a look at the top 5 fighters there. You gotta get rid of Bader's name because he's the heavyweight division. Sullivan Culley is the guy if you're looking really is coming up. Carl Moore, super strong, good stand up, a lot of power. He can fight on the ground also. Grant Neal's a guy you got to look at, man. He's that tweener guy though. Mm-hmm. It looks like he could be a 185er. It really does when you look at him as far as stature and everything. But he's thick as hell, super strong, good wrestling. Anglikas looks like a heavyweight. But he cannot stand up against elite wrestling. No. That's his problem. He's got very good boxing, heavy hands, very technically tight, doesn't get hit a lot. If someone's got good wrestling, they can take him off of his feet, and then he's not in the position to do damage. So
not quite a turtle on his back, but
no,
he's like a Big John on his back.
Yep,
just kind of
there you go.
around
This is
a little
true. Yeah, kind of just muscles his way out a little bit, but that only lasts for so long.
Yeah.
Interesting group as far as the top 4 or 5. You really got something, but it falls off from there.
Yeah, I think the fight to make, man, is Corey Anderson versus Phil Davis. That's the fight to make.
I don't disagree with you.
No,
I think it's a great one to make.
Yeah, and you're gonna have Yoel Romero when Vadim's healthy. You're gonna have Yoel versus Nemkov.
Yep.
Here's the thing. When I look at the division right now over in the UFC, this is where they could have used Yoel Romero.
Oh yeah.
In that 205.
Yeah, if they would have just put him up there and because he'd already had problems making weight at 185. And you could see where it was affecting his performance. Mm-hmm. Talk to him and say, hey, well, we want to move you up to light heavyweight because we need you there, and we think you're going to perform better there, and you're going to be faster there.
Yeah, when you have someone who's as gifted as him, and you can, and when you look at that weight class in 205 in the UFC, there's not a lot of wrestlers.
No.
When you have someone like him who doesn't want to wrestle too much because he's 45 years old, 46 years old.
God damn it, Josh! Every time he uses wrestling and ground and pound, he fucking annihilates people.
Yeah,
it's scary at times.
It's so crazy. He just doesn't feel like he can get hurt. Like you just see, like he'll take a shot and then he'll just smile and laugh at you, stick his tongue out, and he'll come back and fight you some more. Like his fight with Paulo Costa was just fantastic. I was in the arena and just going,
They've got
so
that one.
crazy.
All right, they had a picture from long ago. Rocky Marciano fought Jersey Joe Walcott. I know I'm going way back, but there's a classic picture. If Dave can pull it up, of Jersey Joe Walcott. What's that?
Yeah.
Jersey Joe Walcott versus Rocky Marciano. There is a famous picture from that fight of Jersey Joe Walcott's face just being disfigured.
Right
there it is, right there. There you go. Okay.
Jeez.
From that shot. Okay. You take a look at that right hand hitting him. And there is the same picture of Yoel Romero. That knocked Jersey Joe Walcott out. Right. That put him on the mat. And there's the same picture of Paulo Costa's leg. And you can see the flex in his shin bone with how much power it's generating up against Yoel Romero's face, and that his face doing the same thing that Jersey Joe Walcott's, and he just fucking should. It's like,
pull that up.
What the hell are you made of?
Oh, there it is.
Boom.
Jeez.
And look, you can see the power in that kick right there. You know from where that kick is at. Take a look at the leg. That is, I mean, that's a knockout blow, dude.
Damn, that's what I would do to Podcast Dave. If you ever stepped out of line, be like, yo, boom, just straight shin to the dome.
Oh, dude,
yeah.
that is a shin
Wow.
to the jawline. Side, and look at him. That's what he did.
Yeah, just crazy.
Oh,
That's
my
so
God.
crazy, man.
It's like, do you
You're
hit
gonna have
that
to-
dude?
Yeah, you're going to have to post that picture, buddy.
You could hit that dude with a fucking sledgehammer, and he's going to look at you and stick his tongue out like, nah.
Insane. Just crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, I look at that division in 205 in the UFC, and they could have really used Yoel to come in and kind of spruce it up a little bit. And
Yeah,
especially
think so.
now that Yoel's put the weight on properly, like I said, when he fought Phil Davis, he looked a little like kind of just soft around the midsection. Which
If
we
you were
normally
going to say
didn't see
soft for him.
yeah, soft for him. You know, but then when he fought Polizzi, he looked shredded. He looked ripped. He looked ready to go. He's
When he
put the
fought
weight on
Manhoef,
properly. And then
nasty.
and then when we saw him in the fighter meetings, he's like, yeah, I don't have to really cut much weight. You know, he still had to lose like 11
I feel
pounds.
good.
Yeah, he said he felt great. He's like, I only have to lose like 11 pounds tomorrow. I was like, what the fuck? You know, so he
Goes, oh, that's easy.
yeah, it's easy, man. He's been cutting from 80 to 85. But I wonder how much they're like, man, we could have potentially done something like that with him because he still has a lot left. Next.
Heavyweight division. Let's go to Francis Ngannou, the champion of the UFC. And look, he deserves to be in that position. The guy, put on a great fight in taking the title back against Stipe. He then defended it against the interim champion in Cyril Gane, even with a bad knee and stuff. And I don't see anyone right now other than a guy named John Jones if he comes out there. And Jones isn't going to be able to, just stand up and stay in a stand-up war with Ngannou. He's going to have to use that wrestling. He's going to have to use all the different tricks and things that he knows how to do. But if you're looking at this division, it's always a division that is lacking in a lot of talent. You can take a look and say whatever you want. There's guys in there that I really enjoy watching. Jairzinho Rosenstruck, I thought did a great job in his last fight. Fought the way he's supposed to. Tom Aspinall is a guy, although injured, he's really going to be someone to watch. I think he's got a ton of talent. He fights well on the ground. He's got good wrestling. He's got good stand-up. Guys like Tai Tuivasa are what we expect out of the heavyweight division. A guy who is a banger, fun to watch, and takes a big shot, comes to either, knock you out or get knocked out. And that's what happened to him in his last fight against Sergey Pavlovich. That's a guy, if you're really looking, Pavlovich versus Ngannou. If they can't get that John Jones thing done, that's the fight that I would love to see. Put Stipe Miocic and Cyril Gane together and put Francis Ngannou and Sergey Pavlovich together. I think you got two great heavyweight matchups if John Jones is not going to be part of the equation.
This is what I see. I think Francis may be done with the UFC. I think he's going to walk. I think he's gone, and I think Stipe's already gone. I don't think Stipe's coming back. As much as we were saying, like, he's like, look, if I'm going to get a title shot, sure, I'll come back. I don't think he's getting a title shot.
I don't think. Well,
they don't want to give him a title shot against outside of John Jones, which they should. If it's going to be somebody,
exactly.
it should be John
If
Jones.
Ngannou walks, then I could see them giving Stipe a title shot against John Jones.
But let's just say he beats John. He's gone. He's never going to fight again. Now you have a vacant title again.
Yeah,
I know. We say yeah, but you know the UFC hates that shit.
No, I know they hate it, but but again,
that shit.
sometimes there's nothing you can do about it, and it's
No,
going
I
to be
get
what
it.
it's going to be. And so, hey, put the fights on. You've got some guys that you can use to build other guys, but and nothing against the guys that are Derek Lewis. I love, is fun, but again, I don't see him ever being a champion in that division. Same with Volkov. I don't see him being a champion in the division. Same with Rosenstruck. Too limited. And again, I thought he fought great in his last fight. Loved what he did. Exactly what I want to see out of him. Let's see if he can continue doing that. Marcin Tybura, tough dude, hangs in there in fights and finds ways to win. He's fun. He ain't going to be your champion. Chris Daukaus,
No.
not going to be your champion in the heavyweights. And you just take a look at those.
You're skipping someone, though. This is the guy, though, that has a lot of chance to be the champion because he's the only guy that can fucking wrestle. Curtis Blades.
Curtis Blades.
He's the guy that I think gives John Jones
I
the
didn't
biggest
miss him. I went from a certain point.
Yeah, you overlooked him. Got it.
No, because I started to tie to Ivasa.
Got it. But with Curtis Blades, I wouldn't be surprised if they said, "Hey, Curtis, you and John for the title." Cyril just already fought for it. Stipe's, I think, gone. Sergey's coming off a great win, but stylistically, that matchup is probably the best. That's gonna be John's toughest task. Have him fight a wrestler, someone who can stand a little bit, doesn't have the stand up as John, but can probably match a little bit of that wrestling pedigree with John Jones.
He definitely can match the wrestling pedigree.
You know what I mean? Yeah, but I'm saying, like, we're gonna see size wise though too. He's tall, he's long, he's every bit as big as John Jones.
He's got the range that John normally takes advantage of that he can't.
And John has a hard time. He's had it's been proven.
Yeah.
The guys that have always been tall and long and lanky, and those guys
Give him the most trouble.
Give him the most trouble. And I'm not saying he's going to give him a lot of trouble, but I think he's going to end up being one of his tougher fights. Probably his most toughest fight at that division. I mean, Ngannou is someone who's just explosive, but how old is Ngannou? 35?
Not that old. 35 maybe, yeah.
That's kind of old, John.
Not really. Not for a heavyweight.
I know.
Not for a heavyweight.
But when you rely on your speed to stuff takedowns
36.
and your explosiveness on the... I mean, I get he wants to get paid. He wants to make a lot of money, but I mean, if I'm the UFC, I'm like, okay, look, I'll give you a 4-fight deal for a lot of money. And once you lose, I got to, and there's tiers to that. If you lose the title, you're going back down to this.
Yeah.
It sucks, but if you're a promotion, that's what they're looking at. They're looking at that. So, and John Jones not even in this mix yet, but like I said, Stipe is out. I mean, to me, Tom Aspinall is the sleeper. Coming off that injury on the knee, fluke. Total mishap. But
the guys who are out there that you're looking at in this division, because Cyril Gane is going to be there, and he's good. Yeah. All right. Pavlovich, he's coming on. He is exciting. He's powerful. He's doing everything right. He's going to be there. Blades is going to be there. Tuivasa is going to be there. He's just going to be that guy that's, kind of, they'll bring up at times when there's that space or anything, but he's going to have to fill that void of when he fights someone that's technical, he can't just be the brawler because he's taking shots, and that's what happened like against Gane and then Pavlovich. Aspinall, and like you said, I think he's the future, but he got hurt, and he got hurt in a fight against Blades where you look and you go, not a whole lot happened. I don't know, anyone can get hurt, but is he that guy that injuries are just going to fall upon? And we've seen those guys that are really talented, but injuries just seem to come out. Don't know.
Bellator's heavyweight.
All right, taking a look at this. When being honest, you got Bader coming up. He's got his fight against Fedor in Fedor's last fight. A lot of people wonder, why are you going to do that and stuff? Hey, it was a promise that someone had made, and that it's going to be. Ryan wants that fight. He wants to prove that the first time wasn't a fluke, and Fedor wants to prove that, nope, I wasn't, who I was supposed to be on that night, and I'm going to prove to you I'm a lot better than that, and I'm going to get the win. So I look at this. This division is more about the guys coming up from the bottom. Mm-hmm. It's not so much the guys. Moldavsky's going to be there for a while. fast, smaller heavyweight, which is the heavyweight of the future. He's more of like the Cain Velasquez, 235 pound, heavyweight comparatively. Congo, basically, he's done. You're not going to see a whole lot of him. Steve Mowry, young, big, 6'8", got a lot of talent, a lot of submissions, but hasn't really fought anybody that you can look and say that guy is super talented.
Yeah, I don't know how he's ahead of Tim Johnson.
It's just, I think, a matter of the record.
Yeah, Sarkam just needs to let it go. That's his biggest thing. Don't fight conservative. Let your shit go. Do your cardio, buddy, because you're a big guy with a lot of athleticism. You just got to utilize that. You can't utilize that athleticism if you're fucking tired. That's the biggest thing with him. The sky's the limit for him. He could end up becoming the champion by the end of 2023 or early 2024 if he just focuses on his conditioning and his ability to stuff takedowns and letting his hands go. Daniel James is kind of such a big guy. He's just, he's someone that just shocked the shit out of me in the last fight. He shocked the crap out of me. I didn't expect, fun guy, great on the mic. He's a huge star in Chicago. Everyone there, he knows every damn celebrity. They were all there front row watching him fight. He's a big ticket seller in Chicago. And I go down the list. Steve Mowry's got a long ways to go, man. He hasn't fought anybody of name. I don't even think he should be in the top 5. He should be more down by the top 10, top 9, somewhere around there. Sarkam would be a tough fight for him, if not potentially beat him right now. Czech Congo's gone. Fedor will be gone after this fight. Lynn Vassell is always dangerous. He's gotten a lot better at heavyweight since going up. The same thing with Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader and him, Lynn Vassell, 2 different fighters at heavyweight. Ryan Bader at 205, huge mistake. Cutting all that weight, at the age he is, at heavyweight, he's a lot better in terms of the wrestling and all those things. And Moldavsky is just the young tweener. He's the guy that 230 pounds, 228 pounds, 234 pounds, depending on what he ate for lunch. And he's a grinder. He's someone that can get on you. He's got good stand up and he'll wrestle you. He'll do everything. But this division, it needs a little bit of a makeover, John. I'm going to be 100% honest. We've got a handful of guys, not even a handful. I'd say 3 or 4 that I'd really like to see stick around. The rest of them all need to start making some improvements, to help grow this division. That's it. I mean, I expect a lot out of the heavyweight division because I know there's not a lot of them out there, but man, you guys got to go out there and excite. And Daniel James did that his last fight, and so did Sarkam. So both those guys are showing me a lot as of lately, and I love watching them fight. Same thing with Lynn Vassell. Lynn Vassell's come up. He should be getting next in line for a title shot. He got overlooked by Fedor, but it's Fedor. So what are you going to say? All right, well, hey, guys, we're going to wrap up this show. This has been a long show. We weren't expecting to go this much, but John and I are nerds, so we get into it like we did. And, and go to
talking our crap
as we do talk about this. Go to weighingInmerch.com, pick up some of our merch available. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and the thumbs up. That helps the algorithm push our product and our channel. So hopefully you guys can do that for us. Share our content to everyone. Take the link down below. Copy that link, send it to your friends that are in MMA. Say, hey, why don't you guys give this podcast a listen to? We want to thank you guys so much for listening to us. And John, take us away.
For everyone out there, I want you to know that Josh's IQ went up at least 5 points by putting those glasses on. It's fantastic. What are you doing? You just got stupid again.
5. It's going to take more than those glasses, buddy.
For everyone out there, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you.